Yes. I mean, we have AI in our product, but in terms of AI on support, I really don't want to throw out 100% AI like bot that they talk to. That, for me personally, it frustrates me. I like there to be a human on the other end, but I would like to see AI helping out with those responses, because we get a lot of repeat questions like, I can't send email. The form's not sending email. It's like, it's not the form, it's your configuration in WordPress, and we'll help them out with that. So I want to use AI to detect those types of inquiries coming in, draft a response. I can look at it, personalize it, and send it back. Just to help me, just to speed up that process. That's kind of as far as I want to go with AI right now, because I really feel that support has been one of the strong points of the product, and we get a lot of great feedback on that. Everyone's like, yeah, the support's brilliant, and I want to keep that up. When we first started, I was bending over backwards and practically building forms for people when we first started. So we don't quite do as much as that nowadays, but we do try to be as helpful as we can.
Hey everybody, it's Roger with Kinsta. I'm joined today by a new friend, Mark. Hey Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Roger.
Excellent. Hey, we've met briefly. We have not had a chance, though, to learn your origin story. How did you become the superhero that is Mark Westguard?
I don't know about a superhero, but yeah, Mark Westguard I am.
How did it get started? How did you get into the web?
Long time ago, as you can tell. There's a few grey hairs starting, I mean, I started coding when I was about 6-7 years old.
Nice.
And I got introduced to the web, I guess, when I was at university.
Okay.
It was very, very, very early days. We were using the first release of Netscape and dabbled with playing with websites. And I met a couple of guys in the town that I was living in, and they wanted to start a web agency. Probably one of the first ever web agencies in the town I was in.
Okay.
Back then, we were actually going out and telling people what the internet was in order to sell a website. Literally, like, you need a website. What's a website? So we had a great deal of success. We were the UK's second fastest growing agency back in the day. And we had some pretty big name clients. We had like Sony, KPMG, British Telecom, a lot of government stuff that we did. So yeah, that was back in, I want to say 96. I've been at it for almost 29 years. Done a lot of websites, built a lot of websites, and also did dabble in software licensing before. So I had actually a wedding website and wedding planning software. Okay. So I met my wife in 2005, and we were organising our wedding, and we had people in the UK and people in the US, because I now live in the US, originally from the UK. And I was like, well, there's no easy way of getting people to RSVP. We're having to like call people up and send emails and stuff. So I built a little online RSVP form, basically. Maybe that's when I started getting into forms.
Here we go.
And that turned into a product called Wed Simple, which I white labeled and actually kind of licensed that out to a company called Condé Nast, who own Vanity Fair magazine and Brides magazine. And then that expanded out across the planet to a bunch of different wedding publications out there. And then social media came out and killed it. Brides weren't buying bridal magazines anymore. They were just using Pinterest to look at bridal stuff. But yeah, that was kind of my first forte into software licensing. But I've always been doing the web development in the background.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of my story, quite a long time. I mean, there's so much I could talk about, but we're limited on time. So
yeah, but let's dive back in a little bit there. So these original sites that you're creating, were these just brochureware sites, or were you starting to tie into like some ERP systems and things like that?
Yeah, originally it was just kind of literally brochureware, because that's all you could really do back then.
Yeah.
Then we wrote a content management system. We actually called it ADS, which stood for a database system. And but we sold it. It was almost sold like plugins are sold nowadays. So there was a core product, and then there were different add-ons. So you could have like a user add-on or an e-commerce add-on, stuff like that. And we sold that to a lot of people. The first client we used that was with a company called Iowa. I don't know if you remember them, but they were a hi-fi company. Then they got bought out by Sony, but we built them a platform where they could put all their products on, all their hi-fi equipment, and then they could modify the specs and remove products and things like that. And that was written in a long time ago. So yeah, it was a gradual. I mean, we really kind of followed the evolution of the web, really. So as e-commerce, who do we used to use? Intershop, that was it. Product called Intershop for e-commerce, and that was kind of the enterprise platform back then. So we did a website. I think it was called Look Fantastic. It was like a healthcare site that we did. We built the site for Safeway. So yeah, a lot of fun times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When did WordPress become part of the scene?
Quite recently. I mean, compared to other people in the WordPress community, but I want to say maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
My agency ended up in New Orleans, where I met my wife, and one of my staff members there said, I want to go to a WordPress conference. I want to go to WordCamp. And I was like, what's WordCamp? So off he went and came back with a lot of swag. I was like, well, you've got a lot of pens and stickers, and what did you actually learn? And then he showed me the product, and we loved it. So yeah, we would use that to build themed websites, basically. So we focus on building themes and building out sites for people. So we did like community coffee and all kinds of local companies in the New Orleans area, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and then some beauty products and all kinds of different companies. So yeah, about 10 years ago is when I got into it.
Okay. And then at what point did you realize you had a product?
So the product came about partly by me wanting to get back into the software licensing because of the WordSimple product that I had. It was a lot of upfront work, but once it was running and the money was coming in, it was a nice way to run a business. And also there was an asset there as well. Whereas with the agency, the only asset we really had was computers and people, really. So always carried on with the web development, but I spoke to the team and said, look, I'd love to build a plugin for WordPress. What is your pain point in WordPress right now? And they put their hands up and said, forms. We don't like building forms. It's a pain. It's like putting an alien on the page. We have to style it and do a lot of custom code to get it to do what we want. I said, okay, well, let's tackle that problem. Let's try and build a WordPress form plugin that is focused at developers, that is using all the latest tech, and we can make this fully responsive and accessible. And so I'm thinking, we'll get this done in 6 months. 6 years later, we're still at it. So yeah, that's basically how it came about. It was just an idea within the agency. The agency bootstrapped it and built it, and best thing I ever did. I absolutely love the industry that I've moved into, love the WordPress community, love working on the product. It's really what I enjoy doing, because I was really spending a lot of my time building stuff for other companies, and then they were benefiting from it. I would get paid once, and I'd have to go out and look for another. Now I'm in a position where I'm working on something that I have a passion for, that I love. Every hour I put into it is building the product, and yeah, it's very, very rewarding to be working on the product side. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's great to hear. What, besides the longer timeline, what was one of the big surprises when you started digging into creating a product that you had not anticipated?
The amount of support. I mean, you're basically working towards being a support company. Mm-hmm. It's not all about build. The build is the fun part. I'm a developer by heart. That's what I love doing. The marketing is a challenge. That's definitely been a big steep learning curve for me, because I'm not a marketer. I'm a developer, and as a one-man band that can be. But yeah, the support is a challenge, but I quite enjoy it, because I enjoy making information accessible to the users, to cut down on support tickets, and I love working out ways of making their experience easier for answering questions that they may have. So a lot of knowledge-based writing. I want to get more into doing videos and stuff. I have fortunately a lot of friends in the WordPress space that love making content for it, so they kind of help me out with that.
Absolutely. No, it's good to have those friends. When you're talking about support's a big deal for Kinsta, right? And with products like ours, like yours, these are not simple products. They're not one size fits all. There's a lot of different tweaks in there. We're starting to see a lot more AI coming into the support world. Are you starting to experiment with that yet? And how has it been going for you?
Yes. I mean, we have AI in our product, but in terms of AI on support, I really don't want to throw out 100% AI like bot that they talk to. That for me personally, it frustrates me. I like there to be a human on the other end, but I would like to see AI helping out with those responses, because we get a lot of repeat questions like, I can't send email. The form's not sending email. It's like, it's not the form, it's your configuration in WordPress, and we'll help them out with that. So I want to use AI to detect those types of inquiries coming in, draft a response. I can look at it, personalize it, and send it back. Just to help me, just to speed up that process. That's kind of as far as I want to go with AI right now, because I really feel that support has been one of the strong points of the product, and we get a lot of great feedback on that. Everyone's like, yeah, the support's brilliant, and I want to keep that up. When we first started, I was bending over backwards and practically building forms for people when we first started. So we don't quite do as much as that nowadays, but we do try to be as helpful as we can. And that's, I'd like AI to speed up that support process and not hold us back by people going, I don't want to talk to a
Sure. And I wonder if there's almost this hybrid of personalized documentation where maybe the documentation knows where you're at in terms of your capabilities.
Yep.
And so it's then tailoring that towards you. But yeah, we just did a big survey on support and AI, and at least in America, the vast majority of people do not want to see AI in support at this point. So
yeah, America is, having lived here for 20 years, companies tend to spend a lot more time and care on support in the US. When I go back to the UK and maybe I call up the cell phone company or something, it's an absolute nightmare. I don't know how these companies make money. It just amazes me. US tends to be better.
okay.
Not perfect all the time.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think the general public here expects a human to talk to and not have to go through hurdles to get to it. I think that's just frustrating for anybody.
Absolutely.
And AI, it can be a great cost-cutting tool, but at the same time, if you go too far with it, or even just with bots 10 years ago, it was sometimes not the greatest experience for customers.
Absolutely. We're coming up on our time here, but you did mention AI in the product. Can you talk about that pretty quickly about how you're utilizing that?
Yeah, very quickly. So we're tied in with OpenAI with their API, and there's two ways you can use AI in WS Form. First of all, you can ask it to build a form for you. So you can tell it what form you want, and it'll build the form for you. So you could say, build me a mortgage calculator, and it'll build it. It'll even fill things in like the help text and select drop-downs and everything. It's pretty cool. The other thing you can do with it is you can use the OpenAI endpoints. So for example, you could ask it to create an image, and it'll create an image as part of the form. So it'll put that in an upload field. You can ask it to convert audio into text. You can ask it to put text into audio. You can just use the general chat feature as well. So if you just want to ask it a question. So a very quick example would be, want to build a blog post. Here's the topic I want to write. It could write the blog post and it could create a featured image for it and then push that and create a post in WordPress. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff you can do with the OpenAI add-on.
Very cool. All right. Yeah. Well, the product is WS Forms. Yep. The superhero is Mark Westguard.
Without the cape.
This is, we don't always have to have a cape. This has been a great conversation. I'm hoping that you'll come back and talk with me again at some point.
Absolutely.
If people want to get in touch with you, what is the best place for them to reach out?
They can contact me through the website, wsform.com. Just go to the contact page there, or you can find me on Twitter at Westguard, WESTGUARD. And then we're also at WS_form on Twitter as well. And we have a Facebook group too, so you could join that and join in on the conversation.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, Mark, it's great talking with you. I'm glad to get your background story, and I'll look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Roger. I appreciate it.